on the 16th and concludes with Kids Run the Bases postgame on the 17th. Get your tickets for the homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Our Falcons play here.
We got to get through training camp. We got to get to a certain point to see the work that we got to determine what we need from the games.
It's a new team and a new season. Catch head coach Raheem Morris and our Falcons with preseason game 1, Falcons-Lions, Friday at 7. Catch each and every Falcons game here.
That is 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Catch Falcon football all season long right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Away we go here on a Monday. 1 hour extravaganza walking you up to Braves baseball. Braves messed around and won a series over the weekend.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Albeit raindrops were involved at Bristol Motor Speedway. That is as much as I've seen of any NASCAR track in quite some time. How are you, Wes?
I'm doing good.
How's Iowa?
Iowa was hot.
Was it?
Yeah, very hot.
Well, I appreciate you bringing back some of the cooler weather here.
You're welcome, yeah.
I had a certain morning show host tell me that it was like lows in the 50s.
Well, that was after I left then.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, because it was hot.
You mean the gold winning the medal-winning Olympian.
Yes.
He won bronze.
Bronze, right? Yeah.
But he told me I didn't listen this morning, but he told me he was very competitive in the gold medal game. But obviously,
no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
room to improve.
Yeah.
Good for congratulations.
So there was
to
several. Alabama did good overall.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there was. I know in the women's 50 doubles that the Alabama won.
Yeah.
Really? In the 60s, that we didn't do so good.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you still got more medals than I do.
Yeah. No. So
I ain't throwing no rocks.
Yeah.
So the Senior Olympics took place in Des Moines, Iowa, this past week, and I noticed our boy this morning wore his medal. I
had to be proud. That's a big deal.
I held the medal.
I wear that somewhere everywhere.
Yeah, and I held it, and it's got some girth on it. I mean,
it was a big
congratulations
deal.
to Scott Tyson.
There were 3,000
Absolutely.
people just for pickleball.
Wow. So Alabama did well.
Yeah, they did do well.
Good. Although it is in the shape of Iowa too, which I know probably means a little something to Scott.
Yeah. I didn't see Scott, but it was it was so spread out, and then, I thought we were going to do better than we did, right? So I didn't go to the first 3 matches, and by the end of 3 matches, they were. Yeah,
you were ready to go home.
No, I didn't see any of them. I was working in the morning. I have to watch the market open and do all that kind of stuff, and so I was going next, and it didn't do so hot. So. Yeah.
Well, I hate to hear that, but again, congratulations. So the sports that were featured for the Senior Olympics: archery, badminton, basketball, beach volleyball, billiards, bowling, cornhole, cycling, disc golf, pickleball, powerlifting, power walking, and race walking.
It's just a lot of the same Olympic sports they have.
Hey, go back to archery.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
I can do archery.
You can?
I can do some archery.
Okay. All right.
Well, you got the age part too, so you ought to be in the next 2 years.
I'm very senior.
Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
I'm older than Scott, so I guess I'm ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't think Scott's a senior. I didn't think about that.
We're the same age. So I told my mom, evidently I'm eligible. If I was a dedicated athlete like Scott Tyson, I could potentially.
I get 2 or 3 things a month from AA.
I can eat almost as much as Scott, and after that it goes downhill.
It's crazy.
No kidding.
That there is no
Boy's got a
eating.
hollow leg.
I tell you, eating might be
competitive eating. Yeah,
competitive eating.
Joey Chestnut Tyson.
But in all seriousness, congratulations to Scott Tyson.
I'm proud of him. I'm glad to call him friend.
I am too.
That's a big deal. I mean, him doing good up there too. I mean, he put us in a lot of hard work, and he
worked. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was playing before I got hurt, he helped me a lot. So.
Well, evidently I did ask him how competitive the gold medal game was, and it was about halfway through, and then his wife said, "I got to go." Okay. Reese Davis is going to join us in 15 minutes time.
Fantastic.
So
wake the kids, phone the neighbors, set the VCR.
Outstanding. We will call Mr. Davis here in about 15 minutes time. So looking forward to that, because we are in the month of August, and finally with the weather breaking, it feels a little bit more like football weather.
You can smell football.
And evidently the humidity levels are going down this week as well. Not to get too excited, I even saw the possibility of the humidity levels being in the 50s. Humidity levels.
Well,
Friday,
where I am up on the North Parkway, I can hear them marching maroon and gold from Alabama A&M University. I can hear band practice. Makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, if you don't like the weather in Huntsville, Alabama,
wait 5 minutes.
Wait for tomorrow.
Well,
because it's going to change, and you have days where you wake up it's 50.
Last week was awful.
It'll be 85, or you'll wake up it's 95, and 2 days later it'll be in the 40s. You just never know.
I have gotten a sunburn and almost heat stroke on New Year's Eve, and I have shoveled snow on Easter. So
yeah,
there ain't no telling.
And rain every day in the month of February.
Yeah,
every day.
So that's every year.
Yeah. That's. If there's one
and they
thing,
say there's no gambling.
If there is one thing that is consistent, that is rain in the month of February here in Huntsville. There's a couple of things I would like to play. I found this to be interesting. I saw this pop up on Twitter, so here's a couple of things just for at least what I've noticed. I have noticed that they condense down these audio and kind of cut and paste, so you can turn something into something else, but this is not that case. Pete Carroll, this is from 2017, taught a class, and it turned into competitive mindset. And I'm always fascinated, but the question was raised on the Q&A part of this part, and this is what just kind of piqued my curiosity.
I was wondering if you could compare and contrast sort of your philosophy and style of coaching with the other most successful coaches like Belichick. We've talked about.
Yeah, that's really good.
Other sports like Popovich, Phil Jackson, etc.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a whole array of guys, and they're all different. Okay. Let's go to Belichick. Okay.
This is Pete Carroll on the competitive mindset, how he attacks his locker room compared specifically to Bill Belichick.
Okay, let's just start off with this one. That back in the day, you picture what it's like when an army brings in a bunch of grunts for the first day and they show up on the scene, and all the civilian guys, they get off the bus and they what do they do to them? What happens to those guys? The first thing, people start yelling at them, right? They start yelling at them. They start berating them immediately, and they get their clothes off. They put them in all the same clothes. Do they cut their hair? Yes. Shave the hair, make them all look exactly the same, and just rip their ass until they just break them down, and the guys just say, okay, I give up. Whatever you want me to do. That's the extreme illustration of authoritarian, coercive way of teaching and leading a group. It's the most famous, the most successful way in history. It's the one that people understand the best. You beat people down, make them scared, just do what I tell you, don't do anything else, don't take any chances, just do what I tell you to do, and then that leader can count on what you can do. Okay, that to me, that's the extreme authoritarian way of teaching. That ain't the way we teach. Okay, it's also not the way that special forces units are taught. They're taught, now they beat the hell out of those guys. We relate a lot to the process that those guys go through. They beat the hell out of those guys, so they'll learn to persevere, and they can hang through anything. There's nothing that they can't withstand. But they also teach them to think. They teach them to respond to the training that they encounter during the time they're there, so that when it comes time to function, they can't just do only what the guy tells them to do, but they can think for themselves, they can react on their feet, they can respond, and if they're really gifted, they can make great choices and great decisions to do things that one guy could never accomplish otherwise. In special forces, they do just 7 or 8, 9 guys. And they'll take on hundreds of guys, and they can whip their ass because they know how to function together and work together, and they outthink, they outsmart, they outreact. That's the end of the spectrum that we're trying to teach on and coach on. We're at the other end of it. We're trying to celebrate the individual with extraordinary commitment to practice. Practice is everything to us. We work our guys' ass off. They work hard, they work fast, they compete, they battle every day, but they're having a good time doing it because they know that we're supporting and celebrating who they are and empowering them to find their very best. That's the other end of the spectrum. Does that make sense? Popovich is in the middle somewhere, okay? And who's the other one you asked? Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson's kind of more. We're kind of over here. Me and Phil, kind of over here a little bit more, And then Bobby Knight's way the hell. He's on the other end. Those are the illustrations. And it's interesting that the authoritarian way doesn't trust people. They don't trust you because they're afraid that your own personal things are going to get in the way, and you're going to respond out of the norm, and they can't count on you. It's a great way because that's how you control big groups. We just don't think that way anymore. So does that help?
I thought that was fascinating. Of just kind of that mindset of special forces versus a grunt coming into the Army. Of just that mindset of at least.
Well, it's all about building them, stripping them all down, and then building them back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, our boy Joel Klatt came out with his top 25 today. His preseason top 25. Number 1 is Penn State. His preseason number 1 is Penn State.
Kel Surprise.
Number 2 is Hook Them, is Texas. Then he does not have another SEC team till number 7. So he has 5 teams. It's Ohio State, Clemson, Oregon, and then Notre Dame. And then at number 7, Georgia. He has the Georgia Bulldogs at number 7, followed by LSU at number 8. Boy, he loves him some Nussmeier. And then Alabama is at number 9, according to Joel Klatt. And where are you, Joel? Explain yourself, Joel Klatt.
Michigan is going to be in the top 10.
By the way, Michigan was number 10, so that's why he starts out the way he did right there.
Michigan is going to be in the top 10. I almost had them over this team because they just beat them in the bowl game.
I mean, but
I didn't.
Rational.
I'm going to go with Alabama, partly because they have to. They have to. They have to bounce back. Year 2 for Kalen DeBoer. Bama failed last year to win 10 games for the first time since 2007. So DeBoer's got his work cut out for him. This is not a program that's just going to wait around for DeBoer. Now, DeBoer is an outstanding coach. He has won everywhere that he has been. He also has won everywhere that he has been, in large part due to the fact that his offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, has been with him. He was not there last year, but he's coming back, and they will be joined again. They've spent 8 years together at other stops. Now they're back together. I think that's going to help them out. It's going to help Ty Simpson out, who's slated to be their quarterback. We'll see how good he is. He's a former 5-star. He's been waiting 3 years for his chance to play. They're going to have stars all over the field. Bama's loaded with talent. We all know that. Ryan Williams is one of the best players in the country. Bernard is also one of the best players out there. I love Caden Proctor. He was a top 10 player for me. I love their center, Parker Brailsford. These guys can play on defense. LT Overton, Tim Keenan, Deontay Lawson. This is a defense that was top 10 in the country for Kane Womack, their defensive coordinator, a year ago. They should be fine. Now, schedule's tough. They play at Georgia in their SEC opener. They've got to play at South Carolina and Auburn in the Iron Bowl. And then they've got home games against LSU and Oklahoma. Bottom line is this. Kalen DeBoer has to win at Alabama. Alabama got used to a level of success that no program has ever achieved in the history of the sport. Okay, so you can't just, in your first 2 years, have subpar years where you're missing the playoff or not playing for the SEC championship game. At a minimum, this program has got to go to the it has to go to the playoff. That's just kind of what it is. I don't think that's egregious or too much to ask. This team in this roster should get there. Now, a team that I have above them.
Anyway, that is Joel Klatt's breakdown of the Alabama Crimson Tide here in 2025. I think Bama's defense is going to be very good, especially with what is coming back and what we saw out of this team last year.
Well, I think the defensive line has to play better overall, more consistent. At times, they couldn't get a pass rush with 4 like they had in the past. The secondary improved as the year went along, even though they had a bunch of injuries.
Yep.
The freshmen started playing better. Offensively, the turnovers killed this team last year.
I think offense is going to look completely different.
I think you had a very dynamic guy at quarterback. I still think you could have a very dynamic guy. To me, can he play within himself? Give his teammates chances. That he has the playmakers.
And we just don't know.
Yeah, and just don't turn the ball over. Give them a chance to win every game. And they'll have a chance to win every game if they don't turn the ball over. 100%.
Reese Davis is set to join us after our first time out. It's a Monday edition of The Drive, so let's go ahead and take our first time out. The host of Game Day next.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From 0 down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford has financing as low as 0% for 48 months, plus 0 down payment, plus 0 payments for 90 days, plus 2-year 25,000-mile complimentary maintenance. You can choose a 2025 Escape, F-150, Explorer, or a Mustang. Or how about zero down lease? $4.99 a month for a 2025 Explorer, F-150, or Bronco. And just $3.99 a month for Bronco Sport, Mustang, and Escape. Again, these are zero down with complimentary maintenance too. This is a 36-month lease with zero down, zero security deposit, just tax, tag, title, and your good credit. These offers end 9/2/25. It's our Woody Anderson Ford Summer Sales Event. So hurry on down. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. A Lionel Secret.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
This hour brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. You can check them out online at WoodyAndersonFord.com, and you will never guess. In my neighborhood, I don't live in a gated community or anything, but across the street literally across the street, was the mobile service of showing up for my neighbor's truck. Don, I'm calling you out because, it was right there. And Don looked at me and pointed at me and said, yep, using the mobile service. Doesn't cost me any extra. I don't have to go there. They're coming to me. They can do that as well for you.
You can feel like Diamond Jim.
That's right.
No extra cost.
WoodyAndersonFord.com. That's probably the easiest way of, if you want, and it does not cost you a dime more, and they're at Woody Anderson Ford. I was honestly kind of jealous, and I need to do it again myself.
And you don't have to have a Ford to do it.
No, you do not. No, you do not. So there you go.
Of course, if you're looking for a good Ford, they're a good place to talk to.
So there's that.
Wes will attest to that.
No question.
I want to look at one of those Lightnings. That's a great truck.
It is. It is. As we went to break, dove into a little bit of Joel Klatt's preseason top 25. The SEC teams only. Texas is 2, Georgia's 7, LSU 8, Alabama 9, South Carolina 11, Florida 14, Texas A&M 16, Ole Miss 21, and Oklahoma 24. Now, Auburn fans, he does have Baylor ranked 23rd on his list as well. So just if you want to dive into a little bit of someone who lives and breathes college football, Joel Klatt from the Fox perspective, I know you probably would be interested in Ole Miss. Ole Miss at number 21. It feels like a system pick, honestly, the way he made it sound. Here is Joel on Ole Miss this year.
All right, so here's a wild card for me. Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to be really good. Do I know that? No. Do I trust in that? Nah. They got to replace a lot. Lane's done an unbelievable job there. I think Lane Kiffin is one of the best coaches in college football. I really do. He's a great follow on Twitter. Lane and I had that little back and forth there in the playoff time. And here's the best part about it. Like, Lane's awesome. He and I have texted, and it's like, he doesn't take it personal. He understands. Like, Lane Kiffin is so good for college football. So good for college football. He's won double-digit games in back-to-back seasons now at Ole Miss. That's the first time that's happened in Oxford in over 60 years. So he's producing. You know, it's not all just the tweets and I keep calling it Twitter. Am I the old guy? Do we all call it X? Do we have to call it X now? What do we even call the tweets? Are they just X's? What's happening? I'm 43. I can't stop calling it Twitter. Regardless, Ole Miss has got to replace a lot of talent from last year. We know that. Jackson Dart, first-round quarterback. They are going to turn to Austin Simmons. I think he's a good player. Do I know that? No, I don't, but I think he's a really good player. Lane always replenishes the roster with an active portal season, which he has done for reinforcements. And so I'm going to go with Ole Miss at 21. Do I know that this is going to happen for Ole Miss? No. But like I said, like, Lane's a great coach. It's a quarterback-friendly offense. I think Simmons is a good player, so I'm going to stick them at 21.
Again, that feels like a
21.
So
he doesn't think they'll make the playoffs.
Let's talk to the host of Game Day as they're gearing up to start a brand new season. Reese Davis is kind enough to join us. How are you, Reese?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing real well. It feels like this is finally getting towards the end of this long off season more than anything.
It does, but I don't see any reason to rush it. It's been a good off season. But, no, I'm kidding aside. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great to get things started. In fact, we have our company-wide college football meetings tomorrow. So that's always when, even though you've been doing prep for weeks now, to me, it always feels like this is when it arrives when we have our annual seminar.
I try my best to get a little more educated walking into SEC media days, but I was on with all the movement around and the lack of spring games. This is as lost as I've been in quite some time, Reese. I've been pretty lost.
You know, the thing I do this spreadsheet. I'm not good with spreadsheets. It's just a good way to organize things for me. It's a visual thing and kind of helps me go through personnel and all of that kind of thing. And for the last few years, I've had a separate column for portal guys coming in.
Yeah.
And now I've decided that's such a foolish thing that I just started putting them in the key players thing and just putting where they came from, just to refresh my memory, because there are just so many of them now. And it's, and I'm not bemoaning that. It's just a fact of life, but it underscores your point that it's really difficult to know, because this is not putting together a fantasy team where you go and get a bunch of good players. That might work. A lot of cases it does work, but it's also, I think, more fragile. And because of that, if something goes wrong early, sometimes it can come apart at the seams. Case in point, Florida State last year. So, but there are other instances. Indiana, a little bit of a different circumstance because so many people that came were familiar with the coaching staff, but it certainly worked for Indiana. But I do think it's much more tenuous and much more fragile than it would be otherwise. That's the part that you can't always judge accurately is how well the chemistry will and how quickly the chemistry will come together.
Yeah. Funny you bring up Indiana. What Coach Signetti had to say about adopting an SEC schedule certainly resonated here in the Deep South, sir.
Well, here's the thing, though. Let's think about this for a second. It's all right. They're Indiana. They didn't suddenly morph into becoming Ohio State. They had a great year. They had a historic year. Bill Snyder built an entire program on making sure that you got a few wins. And when Coach Snyder is one of the all-time greatest coaches in college football history, when he took over that program, it was the worst program in college football at Kansas State. Well, no program has lost more games than Indiana. Indiana ought to buy a few wins. They can't assume just because they have one great year. And, Signetti's a funny guy, and he likes to take a dig at people. I like Kurt. I think he's a terrific coach. I think he's a fun guy. I don't think anybody should take umbrage at that. They should just look at it and wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're Indiana. Of course you want to try to make an easy schedule. But it is kind of funny that, I think Virginia is improving to some degree, but, I don't know that you're really getting much out of dodging that game.
Kennesaw State,
it's.
But don't hate on the Owls. In basketball, they've got our guy Antoine.
That's right. That's right.
Who's doing a great job. I actually they played North Florida, close to where I live, and I went over to see Antoine's team practice over there. He's a great job. Kennesaw's a growing program.
In fact, Kennesaw State is playing Alabama here in Huntsville in December over at the VBC. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, good.
No, I am not hating on the Owls. I just, it is a rather young program.
Yes, it is. It is. But this sort of, I'll work this into the discussion about playing 8 or 9 games. Let me offer the caveat in conference play. Let me offer the caveat that I think the SEC and the Big Ten, for that matter, and the ACC and Big 12, I think they should play 10 conference games. Play 10 conference games and then play one more against one of the other Power 4 conferences. But as it stands now, this argument over 8 or 9 is stupid. And the reason it's stupid is because which 8 or which 9? Well, I hate to drag Indiana back into this because as I said, I've got great admiration. What they did last year was phenomenal. But their 9-game Big Ten schedule was in no way, shape, or fashion the same as Oregon schedule.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same as Michigan. They, it's just the luck of the draw. You go to the SEC. Texas 8-game SEC schedule is not similar at all in any way to Oklahoma or to Florida. So, all this thing about it just being the numbers, it's not. So come.
Hey, Reese.
Yeah.
Before you get on too much of a tangent, but you're in a bad cell area, evidently. You're around maybe the dog, and I'm not sure if.
You got me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it is better. It is better.
Okay. All right. I'll try to stay on a good cell path then, as best I can. I told you I was in the car, Steve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But no, it depends on which 8 or which 9, and that also is going to vary year to year. So to me, it's incumbent on the selection committee or whatever mechanism that we decide is best to choose the playoff teams to take the schedule in its entirety, all 12 games. How hard was it? Who had the easier one? Who had the tougher one? Who performed best against its schedule? What football judgment you need to use about, if a team played against a certain level of schedule, yet played very, very well. And then the other thing is, I've always asked a lot of the data people, where's the line of delineation? people say, well, Team A played the 10th hardest schedule and Team B only played the 19th or the 24th hardest schedule. And my question, though, is that really a difference? Now, 1 and 57, I think we can all agree. Most everyone would understand there's a difference there. But how much of a difference is really different? That's why I think a lot of these arguments are just sort of so outraged. And as big as the conferences are, there's no way to say just simply playing the same number of conference games makes anything equal.
Yeah.
And even look at the ACC last year in the preseason when I was making my schedule notes and somebody drew Florida State. You're like, oh, holy cow, that's a tough one. But they drew, say, Florida State, Clemson, and Miami all last year. You say, well, they got all the tough ones. Well, it turns out they only got 2 of the tough ones. Or if you said, well, they got SMU and, I don't know, Louisville. You say, okay, well, they got a break there. Well, maybe not. SMU was really good. So I think the best way to do it is look at the schedule in its entirety, all 12 games. If you play, 2 really low-run, bottom-of-the-barrel teams, you're going to get games for that. But if you offset it by playing 10 representative or really good games, then, maybe it offsets it.
You know what I worry about, Reese, more than anything? I think they ought to play.
Not having a poodle?
Yes. No, I ordered one but they didn't have any left in Connecticut. So I'm not getting one unless I can get it from Connecticut because I want that same breed you got.
That's what you want. We just picked him up. My wife and I had to go out of town. And the woman who kept him said, for some reason, he's become a major alpha. He's like marking his territory all over the place. I told her, I said, it's probably because you have bears.
Yeah.
Letting those bears know what's what.
Well, I know he gets that from his mom, not his dad. So anyway, so what it's I think you ought to play 10 Power 5. I think every team had to play 10, at least 10 Power 4, I guess now you say, teams. And as long as they're doing that, who cares? I'd worry about if they quit playing these smaller schools, about these programs will go away.
Well, Jimbo Fisher has talked about that for years, Wes, and it's a fair point. If you play, let's say 10 or 11 high-level games, if you want to play that 12th one against somebody and it's like good for football, or somebody bankrolls their program by it, I have a hard time really getting all bent out of shape about it. And the people who say, well, you shouldn't do it in November. Pardon my French, what the hell difference does that make? I don't care if you do it in September or November. As long as you play one, if you're going to allow it, what difference does it make? I mean,
it doesn't.
Be off.
Yeah.
The alternative is that they somehow work in an off week. So I think a lot of this outrage is silliness and sort of conference pride run amok, saying my conference is better than yours, or my conference is harder than yours, or we're tired of hearing about how much it means more down there, or look at us, we play one more game. I go back to the same one that I just said earlier. Which one? That's the real question. Which games do you play? And I agree with you 100%. I think you should play 10 or 11. I'm drawing a blank right now. I know TCU is one of them. And I'm drawing a blank right now who the other one is, but might be Baylor, but I'm not positive. But 2 of those teams play 11 Power 4 opponents this year. That's a good schedule. And, I would like to see more of that. And if we still feel like it's good for ball generally to play, an FCS team and let them use that to fund their program and give more opportunities for players to come in there, then I think that's fantastic too. Just, don't go overboard.
Reese,
my problem is when they drop these teams like
Indiana.
Dropping
Virginia to pick up Kennesaw State.
Yeah, and then last year Wake Forest, who dropped Ole Miss on their return visit. That to me, and of course they paid a fine, they paid the fee, But I it's hard for these teams to get. It's hard for like when Coach Saban was there at the end. They played all those beginning games because they couldn't get a home series with anybody. Because who wants to go play Alabama in September in Tuscaloosa? Nobody.
It's you're right. That's part of it. And like even Michigan got a lot of criticism for its non-conference schedule the year it won the national championship. And I think there was a series with UCLA that was bought out. Yeah. One side or the other. I think UCLA instigated that, but I would have to go back and check to make sure. But the point is, I don't think it's great for the game, but I don't know. Maybe I've just become pragmatic in my old age. If it says in the contract that you can pay $1 million and not play, and you decide that's what's good for your program, okay, go ahead. I mean, everybody's got to make their own decisions about their program. And if there's a clause that allows you to buy out of a game, all right, I wish you wouldn't, but you've got the right to, and it's, I'm not going to get really up in arms about it. It's sort of like the same way I feel like and hope in the future that the contracts are negotiated with the players. That, if a coach decides the player doesn't fit his program anymore and wants to run him off, instead of doing that old thing where they call him into the office and say what a good guy you are, but you're never playing here, and to understand how much you're never playing here, even if everyone in your position gets hurt, we're going to go pull someone out of the Sigma Newhouse and they're going to play. You're never playing here, but you can stay, which is, de facto running them off. Or the player comes in and says, I've got a better offer, I'm leaving. I would like to see it written in the contract. All right, go ahead, but here's what it says in the contract. You owe X. Or the coach, owes X to the player in order to send him on his way. And, that's why I would like to see that, because that's kind of how business works, and it is a business. And, maybe that's the answer for these teams in their scheduling too. So it's in the contract. Indiana wants to pay the buyout. Go ahead. I mean, do what you think's best for your program.
One assumption that we had, at least for the large part of this offseason, Reese, was the expansion to 16. And after talking to General Clark, I know a lot is being put on this meeting just in a couple of weeks of whether or not we're actually getting there. And frankly, it took us a while to get to 12, and this reformation of 12 where we don't have to explain, who's top 4, who's not top 4. I'd like to honestly see this play out before any expansion myself.
I'm a little mixed on it, Steve, because I was the one saying that when you go from 4 to 12, when you expand the playoffs, it'll be great when it happens, but it comes at a cost. And let's not pretend like that, that this is just all seashells and balloons. And I think over time you'll see some diminished importance to some regular season games. You'll see some diminished importance to conference championship games if they stay the way they are right now. But the one thing that appeals to me about 16, if they do it, is more opportunities for playoff games on campus. And particularly being at Notre Dame last year for the Indiana game. That was just in South Bend a couple of weeks ago. Marcus Streeter and I were talking about, it was near ethereal. Seeing the lighted walk, the crowd, and the stadium lights in the background, and Notre Dame's players walking through campus, in the shadow of the Word of Life mural, which some heretics call Touchdown Jesus. It was so cool. And the energy on campus at Notre Dame for that game was amazing. And I'm sure it was that way a lot of other places. Wasn't necessarily that way at Ohio State because they were down in the dumps, but then they have plenty of reason to celebrate throughout the rest of the playoffs. But the anticipation was so great that I thought, well, if we can get more of this, that would be worth expansion to 16.
Fair enough. I really enjoyed your sit down with Dabo and Bill Belichick. How fun was that for you?
I thought the neatest thing about it was the fact that they really didn't know each other. They had just been in a coaches meeting together earlier that day, but prior to that, Dabo said he thought that they had met maybe at a Clemson pro day once. And he said maybe somebody introduced us when I was an assistant in Alabama. But they didn't know each other. Yet, obviously, Dabo knew Belichick inside out. And I thought it was really neat that Bill had come prepared and certainly knew Dabo's players and the success that they've had in the NFL. So it was a really, really neat thing, the great respect between the two. And, seeing them kind of loosen up and joke around and be comfortable was a neat thing. I enjoyed visiting with both of them. It was really fun.
We've talked previous about this first game day and how special it's going to be. Can you give us at least something surrounding Coach Corso that we can expect for this first game day?
We are hoping that the grand finale is befitting of his spectacular career, and I think it will be. We've got a lot of really, really neat things in store, and it will be a sale.
One of the things I think that most people really don't realize is what a great player and athlete he was.
I'm sorry, Wes, say that again, please.
That when it comes to Lee Corso, that most people don't realize what a great athlete he was.
Oh, I mean, I can't remember. I don't think his record has been broken. Maybe Deion Sanders tied it, but he held the record for interceptions at Florida State. He called him the Sunshine Scooter. He was a terrific player, great kick returner, great defensive back. Teammates with Burt Reynolds, and they maintained, a friendship that endured until Burt passed away. And everybody, remembers when it was heard, that Burt was an outstanding player. LC was a tremendous player and a great coach. I mean, people sometimes just look at records, and I talked about how difficult a job Indiana's been historically. Lee won a bowl game there. Back when there weren't many bowl games, it was hard to get there. And when we went to Indiana this past year, that Holiday Bowl victory, because it was unprecedented, was still being celebrated. They had a ton of their players come back, for the, 45-year anniversary of that victory.
Wow.
And Lee did that. And Lee won at Louisville, where it was really difficult to win there. And he was a tremendous player, a tremendous coach. And as a broadcaster, there is no person more responsible for the popularity, or really, I would argue, the popularity of college football overall as a day-long enterprise on television. There's no one more responsible for that than Lee Corso. And, we're going to celebrate him at Ohio State and have a lot of fun. And I think it'll be a memorable conclusion to just a spectacular career.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning of this, Lee, Reese, with the fact that tomorrow is your big meeting. So I imagine if you do get the chance to talk with Coach Saban, ask him why he's not in the NFL yet. I mean, we're all expecting him to be coaching the Cleveland Browns with Arch Manning as his quarterback anytime soon.
I would be surprised to see that happen. I think Nick's enjoying his life. He's still really involved with, his phone does not lack for people ringing, wanting to seek his counsel about football.
I bet.
So he's still really involved in the game. And obviously he's just been brilliant on our show. And, I certainly hope he doesn't go back. I don't really think he will. He seems really, really happy. I think Miss Terry's happy, and we're delighted to see her come out with us, several times a year. So, hopefully we just keep on rocking with him in his current role where he's absolutely crushing it.
Lee,
well, I think it's funny people say that he's thinking about going. He's not thinking anything. Miss Terry tells him what to do.
calls a vacuum cleaner a sweeper.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He's thinking he's clearing out the garage. That's what he's thinking.
He's really figured that out, and people who've known him, and I know you guys have, people have known for quite some time he's got a great sense of humor, but he's been really able to put that on display. And, this all shot I just do what I'm told thing has really, really worked well for him.
All right, Reese, thank you so much. And
all right, guys.
Always appreciate the time, sir.
You bet. See you guys.
That's Reese Davis. He's getting ready to crank up that engine in a big way because he'll go from game day for football to game day to basketball, and does a fine job play-by-play as well. I thoroughly enjoy his play-by-play a lot.
He'll probably get a break sometime, maybe April.
Yeah. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner. All right, final timeout, final call for phone calls. Walking up to some Braves baseball, coming off of a series win.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window. Now is the time to take advantage of their huge end of summer sale and get ready for the fall. Right now, all windows are 35% off. All exterior doors are 40% off. Now you get the whole door, just the price is 40% off. And get this, 0% interest for 18 months, as in no interest, nada, none. As always, the estimates are free, as is the lifetime warranty. To make an appointment, go to yourhomewindow.com. That's yourhomewindow.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in a garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $3.49 while supplies last. Go to OwenAppliance.com to learn more. That's OwenAppliance.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Isolated showers and a few thunderstorms could be possible heading into this Monday night. Otherwise, we'll fall into the upper 60s for the overnight. Heading into Tuesday, another day with scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Mostly cloudy sky. High temperatures reaching the low 80s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Talking ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Braves and Brewers coming up. It'll be Eric Fetty. Found out I was pronouncing that name wrong. Eric Fetty taking on Quinn Priester. Coming up on the top of the hour. Braves now 47-63, otherwise known as football season, here in the month of August. Now, something I did not know till yesterday, Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide, knows Gus Malzahn very well. How well?
Well, so I was at Fayetteville High School, and Gus was the head coach at Springdale High School. So you had Fayetteville Purple Dogs and the Springdale Red Dogs, and so we went up against each other. But my dad and Gus have been really close for years, and so that I kind of knew him through that connection. And then he coached me. He was our offensive coordinator at Arkansas my sophomore year there. Gus is relentless in the details. He does a really great job from just constantly, holding people accountable to the details. He had great teams at Springdale High School when he was a head coach back then. I just remember how disciplined those football teams were and how hard they were to beat, because I really think, those players took on and embodied the personality of their head coach, right? And if you look at his career, I think there's that's a point that you can continue to kind of acknowledge, right? The discipline that his guys play with and the physicality they play with, and then simply the tempo that they play with. They've always done a great job of that.
So he talks Springdale. It makes me think, at least to me, Wes, one of our more memorable interviews. Mitch Mustaine. Do you remember us interviewing the California dude from Arkansas?
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. I remember as soon as the interview ended, we went to break. You looked at me and said, let's not get him again.
See, you'd remember that. I wouldn't remember that.
Harsh in my boss, man.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, where would Gus Malzahn be without Mitch Mustaine? Because that more or less gave him his opportunity to be there at Arkansas with Houston Nutt. And here we are to this very day. Really good stuff from Reese Davis, and he's always rock solid as well.
He's always good. No question.
But looking forward to game day and seeing how exactly they honor Coach Corso and his tenure there. And
you can tell they're putting a lot of thought into it.
Mm-hmm. And he would not let anything out of the bag. So it ought to be special, and it rightfully as it should be, because he's been there from just about the beginning. I don't think he was part of the very first game day, because that was Brando. Oh, goodness. The guy who was on the Pony Express. Gosh, I can't think of his name right this second. But I want to say Kirk Herbstreit was in there. A very young Kirk Herbstreit was in there. But
I guess one of his boys has a podcast now.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
There's too many podcasts.
Yeah, everybody has a podcast.
Yeah. By the way, Coach Corso will be celebrating his 90th birthday on Thursday of this week, August 7th.
I would have guessed that.
90.
Wears it pretty good, man.
Yep.
By the way, you want to be on my podcast? You said everybody's got one.
It feels that way. This is our podcast.
I thought this was your podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tentatively, just got a text. Tentatively, we're going to hear from Jerry Glanville coming up tomorrow.
Oh, really? Okay.
And Brent Musburger, who just came back from
and
being
bumped
honored.
into the Tysons in the
that's right. Bumped
airport.
into the Tysons at the Chicago airport.
Yeah.
So
ahoy polloi.
Yeah. Our bronze medal winner just, hanging with the Pete Rozelle Media Award.
Like he didn't even know me now.
Yeah. So we will talk to those two gentlemen coming up tomorrow here on The Drive. I'm filling in for John Abraham this week on because our youngin' needs a week off.
Oh, yeah.
He needs a week off.
Yeah, well.
That's
he can take a week off when he gets older.
Thank you.
Get enough sleep when you're dead.
Yeah.
Well, while I've got a second, I did at least want to play this for my Auburn fans out there because Joe Klatt had Baylor at number 23. And here's a little scouting out the competition from Joel Klatt on what he thinks of Baylor this season.
All right. Next for me is Baylor at 23. So Baylor finished the year on a high note. Regular season, 6 straight wins. Now, they did lose in that bowl game to LSU, but they found something at the quarterback position for Dave Aranda. Sawyer Robertson broke out last year. Over 3,000 yards throwing the football. Now they've got Bryson Washington to go with him at running back. I think they might have the best running back quarterback duo in the conference. Washington ran for over 1,000 yards as a freshman. And I think the defense should improve. Here's what's interesting for me about Dave Aranda. You would think that his defense would lead the way. Last year, that wasn't the case. The offense had to carry this team. He's back to calling the defensive plays for the second year in a row, and I expect them to turn around on that side of the football. Intriguing opening game. I think that we're going to know everything we need to know about Baylor and maybe this other team who, by the way, didn't make my top 25. Friday night, week 1 on Fox, Baylor and Auburn in Waco. That one's going to be a really good one. I think Baylor's got a good chance to win that football game. That's going to set the tone for them. Again, 6 regular season wins in a row to end the year. Last year, they lost to LSU in the bowl game, and now they get that giant opener at home against Auburn.
Auburn needs to win this game. Conference as well. It's a big game.
No question, big game.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From 0 down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford